77 days until the midterm elections, and today an all-important runoff happening in the state of Oklahoma. The winner will likely become the next U.S. Senator from the Sooner State.
And joining us now is Oklahoma Congressman, Senate candidate, and member of the House Select Committee on Intelligence, Markwayne Mullin. Good morning.
Morning. How are you all doing?
Congressman, doing great. Good to see you. Big day for you.
Very big.
I was looking at the most recent polling out of News 9 there in Oklahoma City. So the most recent polls have you up from anywhere between 8 and 15 points over your opponent, T.W. Shannon, former Speaker of the House down there in Oklahoma. But the gap has gotten a little bit closer over the last month. What are the biggest issues to Oklahomans right now heading into this election?
Well, inflation is always a big issue. You know, the national average of inflation is about 8.9%, and in Oklahoma, it's just at 14%. So that's a big issue. But I tell you what the voters are ginned up about right now is the Mar-a-Lago raid. We saw the intensity level really increase after the Attorney General Garland directed the FBI to go into the president's private residence, and the intensity level and the anger really started making some headway. And so now it's about holding the agencies, holding the administration accountable, and that has been driving more people to get involved at a rate that I hadn't seen before.
Wow, I'm glad you brought that up, because we wanted to talk to you about that, because, you know, I think a lot of people, whether you're Republican or Democrat, even we're hearing Democrats say, what happened really wasn't right. We now know that, you know, President Trump's having the special master to review, and people will say, well, he has something to hide. But I want to get your opinion. If you're having a third party come in and take a look at all of this, don't you think that you really want to be transparent and you want the American people to know exactly what you had and what they're looking at?
Well, keep in mind, these boxes were moved to Mar-a-Lago by the Government Accountability Office, GAO, and they had made a document, a list of everything that was there. They had been at Mar-a-Lago for over 500 days. So what would rise all of a sudden when you're less than 90 days at the time of the raid, you're less than 90 days from the midterm elections, to say that it was an immediate national security threat for them to have to go in and use this type of force. And then try to say that from Director Wray putting out his message that people should trust the FBI, that they're non-political, that they're supposedly just supposed to enforce the law. And then you have the Attorney General Garland trying to say the same thing, when we know that they have been a political pawn of the Democrat Party now ever since they've been going after President Trump. And this is dangerous, and the American people see this, and this is why we're running for Senate, because these agencies got to be held accountable. In fact, our website's Mullin for America, because it's not just fighting for Oklahoma, which we are trying to take Oklahoma values to Washington, D.C. It's fighting for this country, because of these bureaucracies, especially in law enforcement, run rogue like that. That is the huge threat to the American Republic that we have.
Yeah, and again, I think it says a lot that Donald Trump wants the affidavit to be fully redacted Thursday. Typically, the target of investigations don't ask for affidavits to be released before that investigation is complete. I want to play you a soundbite. This is a GOP strategist on MSNBC who says behind closed doors, nobody in the GOP wants Trump as a candidate in 2024. Take a listen.
The Washington establishment Republicans who still lurk in the shadows and are still hiding out, and they quietly whisper how much they hate Trump, and they don't want to do it while going publicly and saying, oh, we love him, he's the greatest thing since prepared mustard. Those people have reposed an enormous amount of confidence that Ron DeSantis is Trump without the ugliness, Trump without the craziness, Trump without the conspiracy theories. And yet, when Ron DeSantis launched his 2024 presidential bid this week, which is what he did by going to campaign for lunatic Doug Mastriano.
All right, Congressman, you've got the Trump endorsement today. Do you find that to be the case in Oklahoma?
Absolutely not. And I don't find that the case with Republicans in Washington, D.C. I mean, I'm sure there's a few, because that's what happens when you've been in Washington, D.C. too long. You start thinking like Washington, D.C. But the Republican Party as a whole, the members of the House and the members of the Senate, we are firmly behind President Trump. It's his agenda that drove us to make America great to begin with. And we wouldn't be down this road. We wouldn't be where we're at today if we had President Trump in the White House. And I'll tell you, the Republican Party, especially in Oklahoma, we are strongly behind President Trump, which is why it was so humbling to me that President Trump it came out and endorsed us, and it made a huge difference in the race.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Congressman Mullin, we appreciate you coming on today. Thank you so much,
Good luck
sir.
today. Thanks,
Best of luck.
Congressman.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you all.
Of course.